I'm going to share a clip from Jessica Craven, who is the woman who turned me on to Indivisible in the first place. By the way, I'm so sorry. My allergies are like 14,000 out of 10 right now. So I'm sorry, I'm a little congested. So she is participating in the anti-ICE protests in Los Angeles. She has been documenting how overwhelmingly peaceful they are. If you don't follow Jessica, her pro-democracy advocacy is such an inspiration, and you absolutely need to have her on your radar. You need to be following her. But I want to share part of one of her videos from a particular protest that I think is so powerful and is something that I would love to emulate here in Portland.
Okay, you guys, look where I am right now. I can't talk too loud. I am right by the detention center downtown. Right now, we're in front of the federal building. And look, it's such a good thing that all of those more Marines came, because look what's happening. It's another prayer vigil. So much violence. We're laying flowers on the steps.
With sacred hearts and minds, place your flowers on the steps. And remembering the hearts and minds and bodies of those that have been taken. And in sacred resistance, that we will not take this any further. Amen?
Amen. And just to be clear about the rest of downtown LA, except for our beautiful little protest here, completely empty. There's no one here. So your taxpayer dollars are wildly being squandered. Look. There's nothing here but peace, y'all.
Okay, there's a couple of takeaways there. First of all, thank you, Jessica, for documenting the fact that there is no rebellion happening in Los Angeles. There's not even riots happening. There's no justification for the National Guard, much less the Marines, to be called in. It's so important for folks in these communities where Trump is fabricating conflict that does not exist in order to justify his authoritarian overreach, for those folks to be documenting what's happening, to provide visible, tangible proof that his claims are absolute bullshit. You are somebody who is filming, documenting what is actually happening where you are, providing evidence to counter the false claims of the Trump regime, sharing that with the world. Thank you. Your work is really, really important now. Second, I want to talk about what Jessica and those other protesters were doing in that video. They were having a quiet prayer vigil and laying flowers in front of ICE. This is something I know myself and several other folks are interested in doing at the Portland ICE facility on Macadam Avenue, although it's a little bit of a different situation. Like watching what was happening there, it looks very different than what the Portland ICE facility looks like, which looks like a war zone. ICE here is really escalated. It's not a safe situation. Obviously, interacting with ICE is never going to be a safe situation because they are not constrained by the law. We have no evidence whatsoever that they have received proper training. Lots of speculation that some contingent of them are pardoned January 6ers, Oath Keepers, Proud Boys, white supremacists. White supremacy tattoos have been spotted on ICE agents, as well as badges on their uniforms. This is at a raid in Minnesota. There's actually been speculation about whether or not these folks are even Americans, whether they are mercenaries hired in from elsewhere. We don't know anything about them. We know that they are the American Gestapo. We know they operate like a secret police. They think they are outside the law, that they are beholden to no one. They think they can brutalize Americans. They can brutalize immigrants with complete impunity. They are not following the law when it comes to declaring what agency they work for, what their name and badge number are. They are obscuring their identity. You tell me, what's the difference between these ICE agents here, these pathetic white supremacist Patriot Front motherfuckers here? What's the difference? How do we know that these chicken shit chuddies right here are actually law enforcement? We don't know who they are. They will not identify themselves. How do we know that these guys are not these guys? Don't, because they are operating as the Gestapo of the United States. They are operating as secret police. This is why it is so important that if you live in California, you push for the passage of the No Secret Police Act. And if you live in any other blue state or blue community, you push for similar laws where you live. Understanding that is the context in which we are protesting the brutalization, the violation of the rights of our immigrant neighbors. Understanding that those motherfuckers are shooting unarmed protesters who are doing things like kneeling and laying balloons and flowers in front of ICE, who are reading out Bible verses and they just fucking pop them in the eye with a rubber bullet. I really would love to have a prayer vigil at the ICE facility in Portland, have media there, do something exactly like what Jessica is showing in Los Angeles. I also know that anybody who wants to do something like that, odds are you are going to be brutalized by ICE, whether or not you are standing on ICE property or public property. And I know that they are going to use any excuse to brutalize you. Although I would like to talk about in another video the way that you can make those actions backfire on them. The way that nonviolent protesters have in the past turned public opinion very rapidly against the military, against law enforcement, against secret police through nonviolent resistance. There's an element of risk there to your body and your freedom, even though you are not breaking any laws, even though you are exercising your First Amendment rights. ICE is not currently constrained by the law. And I think it's one of the reasons it's so important that our local law enforcement, perhaps our National Guards in our states, are mobilized to protect our citizens, our residents, the members of our communities and our states against the illegal terrorization of ICE. I'm fully aware that saying shit like that has got me on some watch list, but like, that's not illegal. It's not illegal for us to defend our First Amendment rights. It's not illegal for us to nonviolently resist. It's not illegal for us to protest. Those are all perfectly normal things. They are very American things. This country was built on protest. We have a right to stand up against the illegal actions of ICE, but we also have to understand that at this moment in time, there's nothing that will keep them from turning those illegal actions on us. Now, does that mean that it's hopeless? Does that mean that ICE is just going to run over every community? No, absolutely not. In fact, earlier today, I watched ICE try and pull some violation of Fourth Amendment shit, and the Dodgers turned them away. We are seeing communities all over the place. There was a barber shop just the other day that would not let ICE enter the premises. They did not have a warrant. They did not have a legal authorized reason to enter the business. And we are watching small businesses. We are watching large businesses like the Dodgers put their foot down and say, no, we are going to stand up. And I think that's something that we need to remember in all of this is that ICE is trying to intimidate everybody, not just immigrants. They are trying to intimidate everybody in this country. That is the authoritarian playbook, right? They want you to be scared. They want you to be afraid for your freedom. They want you to be afraid that your body might be brutalized, and they want you to sit down and be quiet and let them strip away your rights one by one by one by one until there's nothing left, until they have total control. But the good thing is that millions and millions of Americans are saying abso-fucking-lutely not. I really appreciate that Knitting Cult Lady is like, Americans are jerks, and we are not a country of rule-abiding yes men, right? One of the things she said the other day was that, like, the United States is not 1930s Germany. Germany is a society that is full of rule followers. Adherence to rules is really important. America is like, don't tread on me. You're not going to fucking tell me what to do. I know my rights. You can't trample them. So it's just a very different mindset here. And also, there's 340 million of us, and there's a couple thousand guys that work for ICE, which is part of the reason that we need to make sure that that big, nasty budget bill doesn't pass because Trump wants to add 10,000 more ICE agents if he gets the funding. But we are watching folks resist ICE on a regular basis, and it does take some element of risk. I realize this is a very roundabout stream of consciousness video, but I want to end with a clip of what the Dodgers did today. But I want to say I still would like to get together a protest at ICE. What will that look like? How will we protect protesters, document what's happening, have legal observers, make sure there's medics on hand, right? There's a level at every step of the way of intense organization that we have to do. We have to be smart. We have to be strategic. We have to be organized for our own safety. And so that we maximize the impact of any risks that we take, we need to make sure that there's documentation, that we share it, that the message gets out and our efforts aren't wasted. I still would love to do a prayer vigil in front of ICE in Portland. Okay, let me leave you with this clip from the Dodgers. And also one more shout out to Jessica. Really, really appreciate the work that you do. According to ESPN, about 8 o'clock this morning, a caravan of unmarked SUVs attempted to gain entrance to Dodger Stadium through multiple gates, security guards, and then protesters turned them away. It's not a coincidence that this happened right after the Dodgers solidified their plans to work with immigration groups. This is what holding the line looks like. This is what defending our communities looks like.